Let's do a progress check on our IK legs. Alright, so we just want to go in and check each of our parameters. Let's go ahead and check our knee swivel. Let's do the same thing on the left side. Great, we can go ahead and start to move our control around. And you might have already spotted the issue we'll need to tweak. I'll go ahead and start to adjust the rotation of the control object. Alright, that's looking good. Now here's the issue. Our counter twist system is not working. And the answer is simply because there's an orientation constraint tied to the thigh that was feeding its twist axis into our anchor to get the twist canceled out. So all we need to do is figure out a way to still read that twist axis, because if we were to just go in and start to twist that object, if we were to go back to our leg control and go to the knee swivel and start to twist this, now when we select thigh main on our left side, I'm going to go through and select that bone object. There it is. So if we were to select thigh main and go to our rotate tool, making sure to the gimbal, you can see we still have some information here in our twist axis. So all we need to do is go ahead and expose the twist axis on this object and we'll be good to go. Let's go ahead and grab our leg control again and we'll zero out the knee swivel. Alright, we'll head over to our create panel and we will create an expose node. Here it is. Let's go ahead and add it to our scene, and we'll right click to exit the expose tool. We'll go to the modify panel from there. Alright, let's go ahead and adjust the display on this. So instead of cross, we can always work with, let's say, an axis tripod, and I'll go ahead and set the size to about, let's say, 2. Let's go ahead and have this object stored in our hidden layer. Great. We'll go ahead and align this to the left thigh. So we can select any one of these objects. Just use Alt-A to do that. And we're aligning in position and orientation, just so this matches up with the bone that we're about to expose. Alright, let's go ahead and give this a name. So we could always take the name of our counter twist bone. Just go ahead and copy that. Grab the expose node again, and that's going to be a prefix of expose. So I'll paste the rest of the name in. I'll get rid of the bone prefix. Alrighty, so once that's in place, we could always go ahead and clone this object and align it to the right thigh. I'll press Ctrl V. Make this a copy. Let's go ahead and rename this. And we'll use Alt-A to align it to our right thigh. Now we can go ahead and take this object and link it to thigh main. So let's go ahead and take care of that. Go ahead and grab the expose node, link it to thigh main. We'll press page up to make sure it goes to the right object. Let's go ahead and do the same thing on the right side. Alright, and again we'll press page up just to check and make sure we have linked to the correct object. Alright, so from there it's just a matter of going in and exposing the thigh main bone. Alright, so let's go ahead and select our expose node. We'll scroll up to the top and let's expose that bone. Alright, great. So now we can go ahead and work with its local space. You can see it's clean. Alright, so what we need to do now is simply go ahead and wire this information into our anchor helper here, the counter twist for us. So let's go ahead and right click with the expose node selected and choose wire parameters, and that's going to be object local Euler X, and that gets tied back to our anchors Euler X. So that's 0 Euler X. There we go. You can see that the anchor has kept its connection, but remember that connection has been canceled out because of the orientation constraint. No worries, we'll just go ahead and use this lower arrow to connect it. Remember, we need to go ahead and put in the reciprocal here, so that's going to be negative local Euler X, and choose connect. All right, let's go ahead and test this out. So now, if we go ahead and take the left control and start to move this around, all right, everything's working properly. If we were to go in and start to twist this using the knee swivel, we'll notice that the twisting is also working properly. Beautiful. Alrighty, so we can now go ahead and zero out our knee swivel, and we can use transform to 0 to bring the IK control back. So that's what we need to do on the right side. Let's go ahead and take care of that. We will, with the expose node selected, go ahead and expose thigh main. Okay, so once that's taken care of, now we can work on wiring our parameters. We'll go ahead and right click and we'll choose wire parameters, object, local Euler X, and we'll tie that to our anchor helper. We'll go ahead and find its 0 Euler X channel. And again, we'll use the reciprocal, so it's negative local Euler X, and we'll choose connect. Alright, from there, we can now go ahead and test this out by grabbing our animation control. We'll go ahead and bring this up. And we'll start to move the knee swivel. Beautiful. Alright, so everything is going to work wonderfully now. I really enjoy working with the expose node because it helps us to get past issues where we have certain controllers blocking our connections. We can just go in and expose what we need and then just update our expression and everything's going to work just fine. Let's go ahead and take that right control and just use transform to 0 to bring it back. And then we could always go ahead and make sure that these expose nodes are just connected to the rest of the rig. We should have already taken care of that. We should have already linked to thigh main, but you just want to just double check and make sure that they'll follow. Remember, it's not necessary that they follow the rig, but just for clarity, it's a good idea to make sure that they're connected to some part of the rig so that they don't get left behind when we start to move our character around in our scene. Alright, great. We could also go in and check our layers. We can go ahead and hide the hidden layer. Everything looks nice and clean. We can go to controls, do the same thing. That looks good. And now we can go in and hide our bone objects. Beautiful. So I'm going to bring those objects back. We are now ready to start working on our FK controls. We'll start that in the following lesson.